assuming you make the choice
Mhm.
to outsource a function or an aspect of your quality system, how do you control what you as the manufacturer is responsible for and what the actual company that you're outsourcing that function to? What sort of helps build that trust and control and manage those operations?
That's an absolutely great question. So there's an agreement aspect to this. You always have to have an operational agreement, but more importantly than that, you need to have an approved quality agreement that's signed by both parties that level sets the responsibilities so that you each understand the functions that are going to be outsourced. I can't underestimate the importance of having an approved quality agreement. And beyond that, good communication. So, because you have a quality agreement in place doesn't mean that you cede all responsibilities necessarily to that function. You really have to have good communication, proper check ins. The quality agreement should set those types of check ins as well. There are certain facets of an outsourced quality function that may not be ideal to outsource. So, you may have a third party perform manufacturing and they may do batch record review and release, but the ultimate decision to release to market and or for patient use or access is always the responsibility of the firm that chose to outsource that function. You can never cede that responsibility. I think that's fundamental. So quality agreement really covers, it should cover every facet that you want that function to undertake. So, what does their document management and controls look like? Batch review and release, environmental controls, supplier quality, receiving and inspection, the laboratories, product process validation, equipment, systems controls, facility maintenance, sanitization, complaint management,
Yeah.
adverse events, and even should touch on things like, okay, what about disaster recovery? There was an incident, on the east coast of North Carolina where there was a tornado strike at a manufacturing facility that overnight, basically removed 25% of the United States' injectable generics. So
Wow.
how do we deal with those things from a quality function perspective? Other things like nonconformance, OOS. So you really outline the responsibilities of the individual that is outsourcing the quality as well as the individual that's providing that contract to do so. Every function has to be covered that way. There's no gray area with respect to this.
I love that. And I think the key component is that there are a lot of quality agreements out there.
Right.
You and I have been on the negotiating end for those agreements, and we've seen a whole spectrum of mature agreements. I think that one of the take homes that I've learned in my career is that don't take a standard template quality.
Right. Right.
It could be a good starting place, but you could get in a lot of trouble if you don't have the right SMEs involved, the right legal and regulatory framework for your quality agreement.
Right.
So start off at a template if that's what you think is best, or if your organization has a global template. That global template is really a jumping
Yeah.
point. From there, you have to really put your brain to power here. You have to say, okay, what is it exactly I want them to do for me? The extent of which, how are things being documented, right?
Right.
What happens when things go wrong? So, all the things that you mentioned, put a little common sense into the development of your quality agreement, and I think you'll go really, really far because we've seen a lot of inadequate ones, to put it, sort of politically
Yeah.
correct. And we've seen clients get into, difficult situations where, data's lost or
Right.
samples are gone, they cannot be retested, or batch records don't have the type of data that you need in order to make that release. So be prescriptive, go beyond the template, and make sure that you have the responsibility of the function, not just the execution of the function in that quality agreement. So great.
Agreed completely. And that even goes so far as to create attachments which has maybe points of contact of individuals,
Yeah.
so that you have that constant communication. And again, you can't just have a quality agreement in place. You've got to go to the site. Now, when we're talking about virtual quality organizations, there may not be a brick and mortar kind of facility to work it with, but face to face meetings are critical. Anyone may tell you that they could do anything, that they want for you, that you may need.
It's
Um,
business.
Yeah, it's a business. Let's not forget. Quality is a business in and of itself. So I think it's important to really meet face to face and periodically to do so as well to make sure that things are running well. And so, we often live in a era and age of, let's just say, Zoom meetings, like
Yeah,
essentially right now.
for sure.
But it's, I really, if you have the opportunity to see that person, you can really sort of read what's working, what's not working. And when it comes to outsourcing quality related manufacturing function, there is a physical space to go see. So it's, important for the contract provider to be able to go periodically and see what's going on.
Yeah, great. I love that. I think um, it's quality is such an integrated aspect of every part of our business, as it should
Yep.
be. So quality is not a single department or an
Right.
entity, or not one group is responsible for it
Right.
per se. And to think that something is so precious and so important to a company's, you know, ethos, and to
Right.
outsource that, you're in a vulnerable place, right?
Right.
Because you're saying this is an aspect of my business which I want others to take a role in. So I think that's fantastic. So outsourcing quality and all the things, all the examples that you would need to do it right are coming up in this vlog series. So thanks for teasing the virtual company. I think that's our first 10-minute segment. So I look forward to talking about that next.
Awesome.